I love summer vibes, okay? Like warm, beachy, sunset, sunrise, whatever your jam. I love me some warm eyeshadows for the summertime. And I pulled out some of my palettes. I was digging in my collection. I was shopping my stash, and I wanted to share with you some of my warm toned eyeshadow picks, palettes that I love that I feel like give me just these warm summery vibes. So if that's what you're into, you are in the right spot. If you are new, hello and welcome. My name is Kelly and I love all things makeup and beauty. I love talking, I love makeup, I love talking about makeup. So if you like to chat about makeup too, you are in the right spot. But let's go ahead and start talking about some warm toned eyeshadow palettes. We will just go ahead and dive right in with the most expensive palette, the one that is on my eyes today, and it is the new Natasha Denona Golden palette. Not to be confused with her gold palette, which was discontinued. This is the Golden palette. And I recently filmed a Get Ready With Me where I was talking about my trip to Austin for the CMG retreat with Samantha March and Angelica Nyquist. I went with my friend Amanda, makeup just for fun, but I also used this palette in there. So if you want to hear me like talk about this palette a little bit more, see it in action, check out that video. But this palette, y'all, is $69. It's gonna set you back $69, but the Natasha Denona formula is like my absolute favorite formula of life. I love it. And I love these midi palettes, these 15 pan eyeshadow palettes. For me, it's worth the $69. You can always purchase it on a sale. Like if you want to use an influencer code, I have a code with the Natasha Denona website, which is KBELLA, that saves you 15%. You can wait for like a Sephora sale. But I really love this for that warm golden vibe. You can see here my eyeshadow today. It's very like sunshine to me. Sunrise, sunset. I love these tones. I love them. And I love this more than the bronze palette. I did have the Natasha Denona bronze palette and I ended up decluttering that because I feel like the bronze palette was very like mid-tone and all of the shades created a beautiful bronze eye, but they like all gave me the same vibes. This one I feel differently about. This palette is giving me what the bronze palette did not. I do have this Milko shade that I can use to set my eyeshadow. I have this Aura shade that I can use for the inner corner. You have a variety of golds. They're very like similar vibes. You have these mid-tone browns. They're very similar vibes. It's a basic palette, but y'all, it's giving me what I want for summer. It's warm, it's cozy, it's light, it's everything I love in a palette. So if I'm gonna talk about warm toned eyeshadows, I gotta throw my girl Natasha Denona in there. Maybe $69 is like a little too hefty for you. That's not the amount that you want to spend on an eyeshadow palette, but you're still looking for something that's going to give you like this warm sunset vibe. I got you covered. Sigma Beauty. Sigma Beauty came out with these quads. I love a quad. I am into a quad. These little quads are $19, specifically this creme brulee one. I could create very similar vibes with this creme brulee. You go in with nutty in the crease, you can deepen the outer V with brittle, you can throw caramelized on the lid, put a little bit of custard either in the inner corner, or if you don't want something quite as like shiny and bright, you can put custard all over the lid as well. And while this doesn't have as many options as the 15 pan eyeshadow palette, it is a quad, so like easier to travel with. You don't really have to think. I sometimes feel like I'm not super creative when it comes to my looks, and so I'm into smaller palettes like this where I don't really have to think about it. Like if I just need something quick on the go, I'm running, I'm chasing my kids, I'm going to work, I'm here, I'm there, these quads are it. And again, it's only $19 and I have a code with Sigma, KBELLA, which is gonna save you some money on top of that. My daughter came in, so I totally lost my train of thought, but like I love these minis because they're affordable, they're easy to travel with, and I just don't have to think too much, you know? So love this. Also from Sigma, this is gonna be like an honorable mention because I no longer have this palette in my collection, but once upon a time I had the Sigma Ambiance palette. It's $52, and again, there were these like just warm caramel browns, these golds. They even had like a little bit of a taupey vibe in there if I'm remembering correctly. And if the Sigma Ambiance palette, which has 14 shades and is $52, is too expensive for you, Sigma also created these minis, these 7-pan eyeshadow minis for $29. And so there's an Ambiance mini if you want kind of the same like golden vibes, but just in a smaller palette. So you can definitely check that out as well. I wanted to throw that in here because like I said, I love the Sigma formula. They're creamy, they're blendable. You have toppers, you have bright shimmers, you have more of satin shades. So I love the formula and I just felt like I needed to talk about them in this video. I have been dipping my toe into the world of indie eyeshadows, and Nomad Cosmetics makes some amazing eyeshadow palettes. I love this one, which is Hudson Valley, based on Hudson Valley in New York. And you can see here, you do have some cool tone shades, but if you cover those up, like this screams warm tone to me. Gives me more fall vibes, but definitely warm tone. You have these warm browns, you have a mustard, you have a red in there, you have these shimmer shades, and you can still create a very sunset look with this. This palette is gonna set you back $39. I love the formula. They are definitely matte heavy in this palette. I tend to be more of a shimmer girl, but I love that these shimmers have sparkle, they have shine, they are bright and vibrant, they're light, and then you have a variety of mattes. But if you are into an all matte look, like you can get a warm toned matte look out of this eyeshadow palette. Recently, however, Nomad did release their travel palettes, and so they're called Nomad Air. They came out with 3 Nomad Air travel palettes for $22, and the one that is giving me warmth, summer, sunshine is Abu Dhabi. I recently filmed with these palettes. I'll have it linked down below if you want to check it out. But this palette is so stinking cute. I feel like you even have you have this top row, which is going to give you like warm kind of rose gold vibes. And then you have like traditional just warm bronze down here. Or you can mix and match. You can be like me and set your eyeshadow primer. You have the sparkle, you have the glitz. The mattes are super creamy and blendable. And again, it's travel friendly. Like it's a mini. It fits in the palm of my hand. And it's just really, really good quality. I've been enjoying my Nomad Cosmetics palettes. I've been enjoying dipping into the world of indie. I recently reached out to Nomad and asked if I could have a code with them. So the code KBELLA is going to save you some money there. But I think that this is just, it's speaking summer vibes to me. I'm really going to get a lot of use out of this palette this summer. There is one palette that when I'm thinking about warm tone vibes, I thought of this instantly because it's mainstream and it's kind of like a classic. Like it's been around for a while. Anastasia Beverly Hills used to be that girl back in the day. She was the it girl with all of her eyeshadow palettes and the Soft Glam. The Soft Glam is a great eyeshadow palette if you are looking to get into like mainstream, but you want something that's not too intimidating. You want to create a warm toned vibe. Maybe you're newer in the makeup space. You need something that you're comfortable with that you can see in person. This Anastasia palette is $45. They also have a mini of this one as well. I'm not sure the price on that one, but I'll pop up a little picture if you are interested in minis or smaller sizes. But the thing I love about this is if you're looking for something on the lighter end, you can go lighter here. But if you want to smoke it up, you can smoke it up down here. You have this bright gold shade, which is called bronze. I feel like this would look beautiful if you just took like burnt orange in the crease. You put a little bit of maybe either rustic or mulberry in your crease to deepen it up, or the outer V, and put bronze on top. I feel like that would be a really beautiful vibe. You just have a wide variety here. You can create those lighter, airy daytime looks. You can go deep and smoky and vampy and bronze and warm, and I'm here for it. So, I mean, it's a classic. I think she's a classic. The last warm toned eyeshadow palette that I want to share with you is one from Colourpop. And to be fair, I do not personally own this palette. I have not owned this palette, but I've owned plenty of Colourpop. I love Colourpop. I feel like they're affordable. You can often find them at Ulta Beauty or on their website. And again, I just really enjoy the Colourpop quality. I feel like the mattes are super creamy and blendable. I feel like there's a variety of shimmers. You have the ones that are more satin. You have ones that are matte with a little bit of a sparkle in there. You have these bright metallics. And they recently came out with the Golden Hour palette. The Golden Hour eyeshadow palette has 16 shades. It's $24. And literally, it's like golden hour, okay? You have your golds, you have your browns, you have those warm, rich caramel shades. Everything that I personally think of when I'm thinking of a warm toned eyeshadow palette. Even though I have not tried this palette, I know the Colourpop formula, I'm familiar with it, and I think this is just a great palette in general. It's a great option if you don't want to spend like the $69, the $45, if you don't want to spend $50 on an eyeshadow palette, to have something that is in the $19, $22, $24 price range is really, really great, and you can still create those same warm looks. That's gonna do it for this video though. I hope that this was helpful. This is like my warm toned version because when I'm thinking of summer, like I'm thinking of warm vibes, but I am also going to create a cool toned version of this as well and share some of my favorite cool toned eyeshadow palettes. So stay tuned, subscribe if cool tones are your vibe. That is coming up. But I would love to know in the comments down below, do you have any of these palettes? Have you tried any of these palettes? And when you are thinking of like a warm toned summer vibe, like what palette comes to your mind? I would love to know in the comments down below. Otherwise, that's gonna do it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you're subscribed before you go. That way I can see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.